Thank you for joining into the show. I'm Charlie, and I am the country conservative. Well, I got a loaded show for you today. Trying to get things ready over here, so I had to move everything ready so I could watch chat. But we're going to be sitting there starting off talking about the Robert Hur report and the illegal documents that Joe Biden has kept in multiple unsecure locations, and that the Robert Hur and the DOJ have decided not to charge Joe Biden for having these classified documents that he shared information with to people. Stuff like, we'll get the Republicans' response, we'll get some cover up responses from the White House, and we'll talk a little bit about on the border. But that's what I've got to you today. So on with the show. You know, everybody sits there and hears, well, they're not going to charge Joe Biden with anything when it comes to these illegal documents. Well, I believe that there was a reason for that. And this is just my opinion. And if you have a different opinion, please leave a comment. But I believe that Robert Hur knew that the DOJ was not going to prosecute this man at all. So instead, he decided to put the truth out there about how mentally incompetent this man is. And if you've read the report or if you've heard some of the news out there, and I did a video on it real quick that night, this is the biggest thing going right now. And Joe Biden came out and addressed the nation that night after this report was dropped. And all he did was prove Robert Hur correct. You know, I'm going to got a little video for you here coming up on that too. But he said that the jury would not find this demented fool. And they didn't say demented fool. I said demented fool. But they were calling him a, what did they see? Because he willfully had these documents out. He willfully retained them. But they were calling him a well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. And they said a jury would never convict him. So that tells you two things. Either Joe Biden's going to have to come out like he tried and deny having a bad memory and then be prosecuted for having illegal classified documents dating back as 40 plus years when he was a senator, plus when he was vice president. And sharing the information to people that he had, on top of everything else that's going on with this Biden administration, between him taking money from all of our enemies in these other countries, to his falling down all the time, his blubbering of words constantly, his total corruption, period. The Democrats and him and the weaponization of the DOJ and all these fixes that they've got in with all the attorneys and Democratic judges across this nation trying to persecute Trump and keep him off the ballot so they can keep power. And this is what everything that's going on here is all about. It's about the Democrats keeping power. And this is why I say on all my videos that this election is so important. We have to sit there and we got to get these Democrats out of office. They've got to be out of power totally. We cannot allow this for them to remain in power. They cannot control the Senate or the House. They can control nothing because nothing will get done. Nothing will get resolved. Trump is going to try to close the border and start a mass deportation of the southern border and all the immigrants, illegal criminals that have come in here. So this is why we have to stop this now as much as we can. That's why I cover the primaries, and the next one is on the 24th in South Carolina, which we'll be covering. The last couple of ones that were in Nevada, we weren't able to get live results because they were 3 hours difference from where I am in Pennsylvania. But with South Carolina and everybody in our time zone, we'll be able to do that with. And this is why this is so important that we get people out to vote. If you're not registered, please get out and register. Vote Republican. Then I'm not telling you that they are the total answer, but they are the answer that we have right now to save this country. And all you have to do is open your eyes and see what is going on out there, because it's a disaster. And I watched them talk to Janet Yellen about the inflation and everything. I think it was yesterday or a couple days ago, and talking about the high prices of everything. Well, she said the prices don't need to come down because wages are going up. Well, no, they're not. Some of the wages go up a little bit, but not to offset the cost of all the prices that are high that Joe Biden has caused. Bidenomics is a failure of a policy, and they've got this old lady in there trying to lie to people about the economy. And you got all these idiot liberals out there that believe what's going on. And that is something that we have to change in the elections. And that's why I keep telling you, help people get out and vote. If they can't get out and vote, take them to and get them signed up to vote, or take them to the election polls. Help them get there to vote. We got to stop this, period. And we also need to stop the mail-in ballots, because that is the easiest way for the Democrats to cheat, because they'll do anything and everything they can to remain in power, to control you, to control me, to control our money. They've already proven this with everything that's going on right now. They're trying to get digital currency, which will control every aspect of your money. They will know every dime that you spend. You will not see cash again if they are left in control. And this is what we need to stop as soon as possible. So you make sure you get out and vote as soon as you can. And let me know what you guys think. If you guys got a different opinion on what's going on in this country with what we're going to be talking about today, and everything else that's going on in here with Russia threatening World War III. And we'll get out to that at the end. We're going to go over just a tad bit about Tucker Carlson's interview with Putin and what I believe that Putin was aiming at in the interview. And I hope you guys got a chance to watch that. It was 2 hours long. Definitely very interesting. Let me know what you guys think. Leave some comments in the comment section. And we're going to start off by a political question for you guys to answer. And I call it Riddle Me This. Which amendment to the Constitution officially ended the right to vote to women? A, the 12th Amendment. B, the 20th. C, the 19th. D, the 15th. Leave your answers in the comment section, and we'll get to it later. Now, first off, we're going to go over the HERS report on Joe Biden's illegal documents that he had in multiple locations. in his garage. And you guys have already probably seen all the pictures of this. I've put it out many a time, sitting in boxes beside his precious Corvette, just laying there. And the Biden Pentagon building that you've heard about. And did you know that the Chinese had keys made per Hunter Biden for the office where all these documents, classified documents, were being held? Not only that, in storage areas, unsecured areas, and in Chinatown. Chinatown. Do you believe that? When this man lets China do whatever they want in this country, and not only that, but we'll get into the border, but 37,000 military-age Chinamen have come across our borders, have been caught crossing our borders. But we will get into that down into the border section of this. But why are we sending so many Chinamen over here? They're our enemies. Why are we letting them in here? They cannot vet them, and they have not been vetting them, but they're still in our country. But anyways, what do you think about Biden having all these documents on him, but does nothing because he's a demented old fool with well-meaning behind it? Or do you just think he's just a crook? Well, I think he's just a crook. But they're going to persecute Trump for having his legal documents that he declassified in his home that is guarded by Secret Service 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, secured. But the Democrats, illegal Democratic judges, are going to try to persecute him over something that he was allowed to have. The National Records Archive knew he had them. The FBI was there, did not take a thing, lied to the courts to get a warrant to go raid his house, and everything was persecute Trump after this because he wants to become president again and clean up this country. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section, because this is just a travesty of what's going on in here, and it's got to be stopped. Where we're going to start off with the special prosecutor's scathing assessment of Biden's mental acuity. The special counsel decided not to charge President Biden, fake President Biden, for willfully keeping and sharing classified documents, but believed an assessment of his mental acuity that raises new concerns. We've all known that this man is mentally unfit to be sitting in that White House right now. We've known it for years. But the White House wants you to believe that everything that this guy's saying is false. But Biden came out, and you'll hear this in a little bit. I've got a pretty lengthy one. It's about 3 minutes, 33 seconds here in a little bit of when Biden came out and talked about this before or after they released this. But special counsel Robert Hur's report cited several factors contributing to his decision to decline filing the charges against Biden. One reason he provided was Biden's poor memory. Well, he said he couldn't remember when he was vice president, and he couldn't remember years after his son's death. And he's a well-meaning elderly man with poor memory. Okay, so why has he got a nuclear button in his pocket? So you tell me, what's this man doing that nobody will get him out? And the only reason is because he's a puppet for the Democrat Party, and they can do what he want with him. Based on our direct interactions with and observation of him, he is someone for whom many jurors will want to identify reasonable doubt. It would be difficult to convince a jury that they should convict him by the former president well into his 80s of serious felony that requires a mental state of willfulness, the prosecutor continued. Well, he is not mentally competent to stand trial. He is sure the hell is not competent enough to sit in that White House and make decisions for us and the national security of our country. Are you kidding me? Now, I'm going to let you hear Biden's response to this, and I added my stuff, my thoughts into this also. And it is a little lengthy. It's 3 minutes, 33 seconds, but it's important that you hear and see that Robert Hur was correct. So watch this.
Investigation going back more than 40 years, even into the 1970s when I was still a new United States Senator. The special counsel acknowledged I cooperated completely. I did not throw up any roadblocks. I sought no delays. In fact, I was so determined to give the special counsel what he needed, I went forward with a 5-hour in-person interview over 2 days on October the 8th and 9th of last year, even though Israel had just been attacked by Hamas on the 7th and I was very occupied. It was in the middle of handling an international crisis. I was especially pleased to see special counsel make clear the stark distinction and difference between this case and Mr. Trump's case. The special counsel wrote, and I quote, "Several material distinctions between Mr. Trump's case and Mr. Biden's are clear," continuing to quote, "Most notably, after given multiple chances to return classified documents to avoid prosecution, Mr. Trump allegedly did the opposite. According to the indictment, he not only refused to return the documents for many months, he also obstructed justice by enlisting others to destroy evidence and then to lie about it. In contrast," we went on to say, "Mr. Biden turned in classified documents to the National Archives and the Department of Justice, consented to the search of multiple locations, including his home, sat for a voluntary interview, and in other ways cooperated with the investigation," end of quote. I've seen the headlines since the report was released about my willful retention of documents. These assertions are not only misleading, they're just plain wrong. On page 215, if you had a chance, I know it's a thick document. On page 215, the report of the special counsel found the exact opposite. Here's what he wrote. "There is, in fact, a shortage of evidence that I willfully retained classified materials related to Afghanistan." On page 12, the special counsel also wrote for another documents, "The decision to decline criminal charges was straightforward. The evidence suggests that Mr. Biden did not willfully retain these documents. The evidence said I did not willfully retain these documents. In addition, I know there's some attention paid to some language in the report about my recollection of events. There's even reference that I don't remember when my son died. How in the hell dare he raise that? Frankly, when I was asked the question, I thought to myself, it wasn't any of their damn business. Let me tell you something. Some of you have commented, I wear since the day he died, every single day, the rosary he got from Our Lady of... Every Memorial Day we hold a service remembering him, attended by friends and family and the people who loved him. I don't need anyone to remind me when he passed away or passed away. Simple truth is I sat for a 5-hour interview over 2 days of events going back 40 years. At the same time I was managing an international crisis, their task was to make a decision about whether to move forward with charges in this case. That was their decision to make. That's the counsel's decision to make. That's his job. And they decided not to move forward. For any extraneous commentary, they don't know what they're talking about. It has no place in this report. The bottom line is the matter is now closed.
This matter's not even close to being closed. He has just proven Robert Hur right on everything, just by his comments, just by his actions. And this man thinks because he said this is closed, or the Democrats said this thing's closed, it's not closed. Because he just proved that he's not mentally fit, not remembering the rosaries or anything like that. He just proved Robert Hur was correct totally. And you're sick and tired of sitting there seeing that the Democrats are trying to play cleanup for this man and trying to cover up everything and saying he's great, he's in best shape of his life and his mental status is awesome. No, You saw it for yourself, right? So now I'm going to let you see Kamala Harris. This is something I threw in at the last minute, but this woman is as dumb as a box of rocks, and she wants to sit there and try it. And you know what? The liberals will believe this crap, no matter what, and they're stupid as hell to listen to this. But I also saw some stuff from South Carolina. A guy was interviewing some kids, some millennials, and they are all for Trump. They are all for closing the border. And it's great. I wish I would have gotten it into the show, but that was just a few minutes ago, and wasn't able to fit it in there. But now I'm going to let you listen to Kamala here, and of course I've added my stuff into this too. But this twit, if she doesn't realize she was only hired because she's a black woman, because she's definitely not smart, and she wants to try to say it when she was a prosecutor. Well, I'd hate to see her record. I've never looked it up, but I want you to listen to this. It's about 1:44. But she's trying to change the reality of what Biden really is. Nobody's going to fall for this except for liberals. Watch this.
I have been privileged and proud to serve as Vice President of the United States with Joe Biden as President of the United States. And what I saw of that report last night, I believe is, as a former prosecutor, the comments that were made by that prosecutor, gratuitous, inaccurate, and inappropriate. October 7th, Israel experienced a horrific attack, and I will tell you, we got the calls, the president and myself, in the hours after that occurred. It was an intense moment for the commander-in-chief of the United States of America, and I was in almost every meeting with the president in the hours and days that followed. Countless hours with the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of State, the heads of our intelligence community. And the president was in front of and on top of it all, asking questions and requiring that America's military and intelligence community and diplomatic community would figure out and know how many people were dead, how many are Americans, how many hostages? Is the situation stable? He was in front of it all, coordinating and directing leaders who are in charge of America's national security, not to mention our allies around the globe, for days and up until now, months. So the way that the president's demeanor in that report was characterized could not be more wrong on the facts and clearly politically motivated, gratuitous. And so I will say that when it comes to the role and responsibility of a prosecutor in a situation like that, we should expect that there would be a higher level of integrity than what we saw.
They want to talk about integrity. All they have to do is sit there and look at their own administration. The fact is that Joe Biden is a demented, old fool, compromised, on the take from countries all over this world. China, Russia, Ukraine, Kazakhstan, Romania, you name it, the man's taking money. They've got the proof, but yet nothing's been done yet. But that's for another section of this. But we'll get into Biden's classified memos, reignites debates about the dual justice in this country. You got one set of laws for Democrats, you got one set of laws for Republicans, one set of laws for conservatives and liberals, different, everybody's got a different set of laws around here because of the Democrat Party. Excuse me, my eye itches. Famed liberal icon Alan Dershowitz decries Hur's decision when compared to treatment of Trump, and Dershowitz is no Trump fan. Trust me. If you haven't watched the show, you would see. You can't have two different laws for similar acts. You have to have one single standard of justice. And there's not one thing about this since the Biden administration has taken over that has been equal on justice. Justice is supposed to be blind, and it's not. It has opened its eyes to the Democrat Party and do what they say. They're like a puppet master of the Justice Department. Special Counsel Robert Hur's final report on Joe Biden's willful retention of dissemination of highly classified information, rocking Washington, reigniting concerns of a dual system of justice, while putting the full weight of the government behind the notion that America is currently being served by a president with diminished faculties. Everybody should know this. And I don't care if you're a liberal, whatever you are. You should see this just by watching this man. And I've played many videos over and over again about showing him falling down, showing him mumbling his words, things that he cannot speak. Those alone, you can't make this stuff up. I'm not good enough to do AI stuff to make up these videos. So I don't care what you are. You should have to be able to see the truth. But you get in here, and I give these liberals that want to run their gums to me the truth, and that's why I do these videos and I'm doing these live streams, because the truth needs to get put out there. But when you even show the liberals this truth, that you're a fascist, you're a racist, you're a liar, you're an idiot, you're stupid. I've gotten it all. And the truth is they're brainwashed. They only want to listen to what the fake news media tells them. And then you tell them, oh, wait, the fake news. Then they want to sit there. Well, why didn't we have fake news before Trump? Well, we did. It just took him to open everybody's eyes and see the truth. If you see everything with your own eyes and then you watch the fake news media, you'll see how they spin the stories. You watch idiotic CNN. They are a joke, along with MSNBC and ABC, CBS, all of them. And they spin the truth to do the Democrats' bidding. And I would like to see their financial records and who's paying them. Because this is uncalled for, how bad they lie to the American people, and they're getting away with it. That's why I do my thing. I'm only a little group here, so I don't get a whole lot of viewers and stuff, but I'm doing my part to try to wake people up to see the truth. Now, on with Hur's 388-page report released Thursday, may have spared Biden the spectacle of a criminal prosecution similar to the Justice Department imposed on Donald Trump, but it delivered a devastating blow to the 46th president's reelection, because there's no way this doddering fool is capable of running this country. Now, when we get down to hear about the Republicans part of this, that they want to invoke the 25th, and we'll get into that soon too. But the man had documents from Ukraine. He had classified Ukraine documents discovered in Biden's possession from the time of Hunter's Burisma work. The House impeachment inquiry into President Biden's has previously sought to determine if any of the classified documents discovered in unsecured locations related to Hunter Biden's foreign business dealings, which they have found to be true. According to the appendices listing the documents recovered in the Justice Department's investigation of Joe Biden's handling of the classified documents, the president retained talking points and telephone call transcripts with the Ukraine prime minister from a key period of Hunter Burisma's holding. One appendix also listed a classified briefing of U.S. energy assistance to Ukraine from September 2014, shortly after Hunter Biden had joined the board on the Ukraine Energy Company. Now, this is when Joe Biden was caught on TV telling them they're not going to get the $1 billion unless the prosecutors fire. What did he say, son of a bitch? He was fired. This was straight up quid pro quo, has been proven on TV live, and how can you not prosecute him for that? Because that's illegal for, well, even for a vice president. Back then, he was vice president. But all this stuff that has come out, it's unbelievable that nothing has been done about this. And it needs to be stopped. I must have did that twice. Okay. I'm a one-man band here. I'm the producer and the talker and everything else. So I'm going to do everything at one time. But you know now that the Democrats are in panic mode right now, and they're trying to fix everything that Joe Biden has screwed up. They've done this for the 3 years that he has been in office. They can't fix everything that this man does, and it's a shame that they've got to keep doing this. And they got to see that this man is not fit to be in here. But Democrats see a nightmare over Biden's council report. Democrats are seeing a special report portraying Joe Biden as a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. The alone poor memory should get this man out of office. As a disaster that it could hinder his chances of re-election, even more than the criminal charges over his handling of classified documents would have done. It's a nightmare, one House Democrat who asked to speak anonymously. Of course they do, because they're afraid of going against this puppet and getting him the hell out of here. It weakens the President Biden's electorally, and Donald Trump would be a disaster and an authoritarian. Trump is not even close to being an authoritarian, and this is what the Democrat Party wants. They want to be the ones controlling you. This is why they're trying to keep Trump out of the elections and trying to get him off the ballot. But it could spin around and bite them in the ass, because the Republicans can remove Biden from all the ballots. So this is going to be a two-way street. If we get enough Republicans with a sack that will do something. The report from special counsel Robert Hur said that Biden 81, under questioning, could not remember when he served as vice president or the year that when his son Beau died, and delivered a line of attacks to the president's arguments that he remained sharp enough to be reelected for another year in office. They are out of their damn mind if they think he can run again in office. Okay, now I got this video for you because Joe Biden has repeatedly done this in the past and has called on people that have passed away in the past. Then I got a newer one here that's pretty recent, and this is Biden talking to dead people. So this is only minute 28. So take a look at this.
And in reality, the president keeps making some pretty embarrassing mistakes during his speeches. In fact, there was one just yesterday. Just yesterday, he actually ended up confusing the French president for someone who's actually been dead since 1996. Let's watch.
Right after I was elected, I went to what they call a G7 meeting, all the NATO leaders. And it was in South England. And I sat down and I said, America's back. And Mitterrand from France looked at me and said, you know, how long are you back for? And I looked at him, and the Chancellor of Germany said, what would you just say, Mr. President? If you picked up the paper tomorrow in the London Times, and the London Times said, 1,000 people break through the House of Commons, break down the doors, 2 bobbies are killed in order to stop the election of the Prime Minister. What would you say? I never thought about that. What would we say if that happened in another democracy around the world?
The current leader of France, of course, is Emmanuel Macron. And the individual that Biden referenced in that weird rambling statement was the person who's been deceased since 1996, Francois Mitterrand.
So we're talking to dead people, and he's mumbling his words. Most of that I could not even understand. If you understood that last part of it, leave me comments in below and let me know what you think he was talking about. Now we're going to get into the former physician for Bush, Obama, and Trump, the Dr. Ron Jackson, on Biden's physician that takes care of him now. He can't be trusted. the current White House physician, Kevin O'Connor, is basically going to be part of the Biden family and is going to cover up anything that's going on. That's from Representative Ronny Jackson. He's a Republican out of Texas, his ward. Jackson served as the White House former president for George W. Bush, Barack Obama, and Donald Trump, and weighed in on the controversy surrounding what many Republicans are calling the cognitive decline in sitting President Joe Biden. In one interview, that Joe Biden called Trump the sitting president still. So who is it? One interview, he called Kamala Harris a president. So which is it, Joe? You, Trump, Kamala? Maybe it's the janitor that cleans out your toilet. I can believe that. Jackson was reacting to special counsel Hur's scathing report. He described Biden as a well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. Jackson noted the significance of Biden's Department of Justice being allowed to put that language in the report, which he said tells me that they know at this point that he cannot function another 4 years as president. Of course, they're going to throw him under the bus. He will not be the nominee, and I've said this in pretty much all my past videos. Don't forget to go back and watch them, share them with your friends and family. Don't forget to follow me and like and everything. Helps me out, gets me some more channels, give me some more followers. And I need that help, so please do that. Jackson said that the Democrats have put themselves in a bind by choosing Biden as their candidate and now are left with limited options to replace him. When asked by Breitbart's Mike Slater about the possibility of invoking the 25th to remove Biden, Jackson said, "We are at the point now where we should be thinking about that. The 25th Amendment would be a way that we could do this, even if he didn't want to," Jackson said. If a majority of his cabinet and his vice president come to the Senate pro temp and the Speaker of the House, they'll tell him or tell them that this man is not cognitively fit, and they will get voted out with the 2/3 vote of the House and the Senate. Now, I don't think it's going to happen. What are we left with? We got a cognitively declining old geezer sitting in the White House, or we've got a dunce of a vice president that spews word salads out of her mouth. Either way, we're screwed. So what do you think that should happen? Let me know in the comment section. What do you think is going to happen? What would you like to see happen? Would you like to see him be removed and put Kamala in place of him? Because we got no Republicans that are doing anything right now except holding hearings, and we'll get into that in a second. But this is what we're stuck with here. And Ronny Jackson hit it right on the head when he said that he's a useless slob that's sitting in that White House right now. And if you've seen him before in the past, that there's something wrong with this man, and he should not be in office. The only reason the Democrats are holding on to him is because of their power. And he is what's keeping them in power. That's why this election is so important. I keep telling you this in the video or the stream. And now I'll tell you again, we got to get out and vote. You're seeing over and over again of why we need this, and it's so important. We've got to get Trump back in office. Got to get Nikki Haley the hell out of the way. She's a rhino in waiting, and she's being paid by the Democrats to stay in, and I believe to steal votes from Trump. She'll get a few here and there, and don't know why, but I guarantee they're probably mostly Democrat voters or other party voters, non-Republican, whatever is in there. But that's the only reason she's staying in, is to draw away from Trump. And this is Democrats, what they're doing. They're paying her. She's got Democrat backers. And that's the only reason. If there's another reason, let me know in the comment section if you think there's another reason why she would be staying in. Now, we're going to get into the Republicans' responses to the Hur's report. We've got Comer coming up here. We got Comer And there is Biden faces no consequences for his actions. President Joe Biden again willfully retained classified documents for years in unsecured locations and intentionally disclosed them, yet faces no consequences for his action. Representative James Comer of Kentucky said Thursday, following the release of the Justice Department report, and this has been the biggest news scandal. The whole Biden administration has been the biggest scandal this country has ever seen. It blows Watergate the hell out of the way. I mean, there's nothing been like this in our country's history. It's a shame. It has been seen by the world. We are a laughing stock in the world. Russia has seen it, China, everybody has seen it. Our enemies are taking advantage of this. And we'll get to this down here in the Tucker report. The Thursday morning following the recent Justice Department report said no criminal charges were warranted on Biden and anyone else, despite the fact that he retained disclosed highly classified materials when he was a private citizen, only because he's a demented old fool. And I told you that here earlier. Americans expect equal justice under the law and are dismayed that the Justice Department continues to allow Joe Biden to live above it. Joe Biden willfully retained classified documents, according to James Comer. And I told you all the locations that he stored them at. And when you have Chinese that have keys to the place, that's the biggest deal about the Penn Biden Center. But the House Oversight Committee has been investigating Joe Biden's mishandling of classified documents, and we have uncovered key facts that unravel the White House and the president's personal attorney narratives of the events. Additionally, important questions remain about the extent of Joe Biden's retaining sensitive material related to specific countries involving his family's influence penalty scheme that brought in millions to the Biden family. While the Justice Department has closed its investigation, the Oversight Committee's investigation continues. We will continue to provide the transparency and accountability owed to the American people. Well, the problem I have is every time you turn around, that's what the Republicans are doing. They're holding hearings, they're sending out letters, and nothing else is getting done. But we do have some Republicans wanting to invoke the 25th. And I do have a video for you that's a little long, lengthy one too. It's about 3 minutes, 31 seconds talking about it. So I want you to listen to this and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more. the last part of that, if you saw that Joe Biden was in that meeting with him. And he's just sitting there like this. Look like he's half asleep. And she's doing all the talking. I'd like to know how many meetings that she goes to with him, that she's involved in stuff that she should not be listening to, and that she does all the talking for him. Because you noticed everything was in front of him, and all he was doing was sitting there like this, like a good puppy, doing nothing. But you saw everything that the Republicans are trying to do. So you let me know in the comment section, do you think the 25th should be invoked? Because I got another video here for you from James Comer and his response to the Robert Hur report. I want you to listen to this.
This is your president, folks, the commander-in-chief of the armed services, the man supposedly in charge of the nuclear football. How is this acceptable? Our nation is at risk every day that Joe Biden sits in the Oval Office. So if at all possible, what can Congress do about it? And can he, Joe, be held accountable for improperly handling classified documents? Joining me now to answer those questions and more is Chairman of the House Oversight Committee, Kentucky Congressman James Comer. Chairman, good to have you. So the question is, hey, listen, let's do politics and then policy. For the politics, it couldn't have played into Trump's hands better for so many reasons. Joe Biden has to claim on national television in primetime last night that he's competent, which means he should be able to stand trial, or he has to admit that he's not competent, and then Trump basically wins this thing slam dunk. But what would Congress be able to do if you wanted to?
Well, I think that, first of all, the Oversight Committee deserves a lot of credit because we were the ones that launched the investigation into Joe Biden's mishandling of classified documents. And I always believed that Merrick Garland appointed her as special counsel to try to protect Joe Biden from the House Oversight Committee. We weren't investigating Joe Biden for mishandling classified documents because he was old and senile. We were investigating because we suspected that he had documents in there from China and Ukraine.
So you see there, they're still doing an investigation. They're sending letters out. They're holding hearings. By the time they get anything done, Joe Biden will be either out of office or dead. The old man is 80 years old, not in good health. And what's the Republicans doing? They're still holding hearings. Nothing gets done. Nothing has gotten done in 3 years. The corruption, the illegal criminal acts of the Biden administration and the Biden crime and family syndicate. Nothing's getting done. We're holding hearings. We're sending out letters. Nobody's responding. They're defying subpoenas. Nothing gets done. This is the weakness of the whole country seeing this. And that is the problem. Let me know what you guys think. Leave comments about the Republican Party. Do you think they're weak? They need to step up and find somebody with some balls to do something about this, about the administration, about the lawlessness of the Democrat Party? Let me know what you think. Now we're going to get into the Senate bill that they're getting ready to push through here for foreign aid bill. The Senate's trying to push through a $95 billion foreign aid bill that is only for Ukraine, Israel, Taiwan, and Gaza. It has nothing to do with securing our border, stopping the illegal criminals from coming across. And they're trying to push us through. Supposedly today, they are going to be voting on that bill. And I hope to God that these Republicans are smart enough to vote no and stop this bill from going through. There should be no bill passed in either the House or the Senate that doesn't include closing our borders. Because the crime rate is surged so bad because of this Biden administration, because of the illegal criminals who are crossing our borders, that it has to be stopped. Our people are getting killed. Our American citizens are being killed. They're spending billions of dollars on these illegal criminals and not helping our own homeless people. If they would have helped as much as they are doing with these illegal criminals, they would have helped our homeless, we would not have a homeless problem. They would be off the streets. But this is unprecedented situation in the U.S.-Mexico border, and visualize what is going on here. You'll see the surge, and I did not bring that one up, and I don't know why I did not bring that one up. Where's my videos? I'll get this real quick for you here. But the surge of illegal immigrants coming into this country, and I cannot find it right now, but it's okay. They want to know why and who is behind this surge. Well, I'll show you why all these people have surged here. Listen to this.
I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we are. We're a nation that says if you want to flee and you're fleeing oppression, you should come.
Well, he got his wish. People heard that. People are listening to that. And they are doing it over and over again. Even the other countries like Russia and China are also listening to this. When you have 37,000 Chinamen coming across our borders, how'd they get here? When they talked to them on a couple other videos, they said we got here by boat and somebody come and picked us up and brought us here. And so I kind of see the problem with that. Well, you got Texas on track to build more border wall in the state than Trump did, Government Abbott says, which I agree with everything that the governor is trying to do down there to protect his border, to protect the people that is going on. Because the Biden administration is considering now executive action to deter illegal immigration at the southern border. Now, in the comment section, tell me why Joe Biden is considering now executive action. But before, he's saying that the Republicans need to give him authority to do so, which is a lie. He doesn't need authority. Trump didn't need the authority to close the border down and start building. He did have to get permission to build the wall because he needed the money for it. But to close the border, he did not. Joe Biden could take a 50-cent pen, sign an executive order. He signed 100 of them on the first day in office, canceling everything that happened on that border. Why couldn't he do it again? Well, he didn't want to. They want this to happen on purpose. This is why I keep telling you about this, and this is why this is so important. Now, I want you to listen to this real quick. This Democrat senator telling you who they care about most in this country. Listen to this.
The negotiation didn't have a path to citizenship. It was entirely on their terms in order to get Ukraine funding, right?
Well, I mean, Chris, that's been a failed play for 20 years. So You are right that has been the Democratic strategy for 30 years, maybe. And it has failed to deliver for the people we care about most, the undocumented Americans that are in this country. This is also not 2013 any longer when we ran that play last.
Yeah, you heard it from right out of the horse's mouth, or out of the horse's ass mouth. They care about the illegal. They're not Americans. You come here across the border, you still are not an American. You're not born here, you are not American. You get your green card, you get your American citizenship, then you become an American. These people coming across this border is not going to get their citizenship. That's not what they're here for. They're here to live off the land, off our land, and off our money, our tax money, and to commit crimes. That's what they are here for. Well, you see that the first impeachment of Mayorkas failed. But there are a couple congressmen that voted not to impeach him, and that was a good reason why, because now they can do a second impeachment vote to get him out, and it's supposed to happen this week. We'll see what happens. Republicans aren't very good at keeping their word on what's going on, and we'll have to see what's going on, if this is going to happen or not. Now you got, I told you about earlier about that $95 billion foreign aid plan that they're trying to push through, and it's supposed to go through today, and they're supposed to vote on it. I'm hoping to see it, and I'm hoping to God that they blow this out of the water, and it's denied also. So now, lastly, we're going to get into the interview heard around the world: Tucker Carlson and Vladimir Putin. Now, if you watched any of it, if you watched all of it, and I like Tucker, not too fond of Putin. I think he's a crazy man. And he's threatened the U.S. with World War III. If you heard him on there, if we send troops to Ukraine to fight, and he said it, his words, well, his interpreter's words, that would start World War III. Well, Putin has already started his war against the United States, and it's not with boots on the ground here or attacking us or anything like that, but him and China have already started a war on our currency, and they are trying to get China's currency to take over the world market. If that does that, you have never seen a depression like this United States is going to see, because our dollar is going to be worthless. If this doesn't open your eyes, and this is why you've seen a lot of these gold commercials come out, because that's the only thing that's going to be worth anything, because our dollar is going to go to shit, and you're not going to be able to buy a pack of gum with a $10 bill. China and Putin have been working on and playing on the weakness of Joe Biden and his administration. China is trying to force its way into Taiwan. When that happens, that will be a start of World War III. Putin has been moving his nuclear weapons closer to us and closer to Ukraine, and strategically placing people in the United States. Russia has got people coming in, China's people coming in, all of military age, setting up shop somewhere in the United States. They bought land. China has bought hundreds of thousands of acres, and we don't know where their people are because they just released them into the United States. This is what we've got to stop the Biden administration from doing, from ruining this country. And they're doing a great job of that right now. This is why I tell you on all my videos again, get out and vote. Get your families and friends out to vote. Share all my videos. Go back and watch the rest of them. And share some of these videos. Get the truth out to people. This is what I'm trying to do on the littlest show that I am. And I'm trying to get a lot of followers so we can get the truth out more. The more followers I get, the bigger reach that I get to people and wake people up to see the truth and see what's going on. We've got to get the Republicans into office. We've got to get Trump into office. 4 more years, he can get things back going in the right direction. And not the direction we're going into now. People respected Trump. Other countries respected Trump. You like it or not. He had this country going on the right track. You had more money in your paychecks. Taxes were lower. Even though he gave tax breaks to the rich, when he does that, that funnels down to you. It funnels down to the prices of the gas companies and the oil companies and the food companies and everything. It trickles down to us. Don't listen to Biden's economists. They're idiots. There is no such thing as trickle-down theory. I know. I went to college for accounting. This is all bullshit. You've got to wake up and see the truth of what's going on. If you haven't had a chance, please go watch the Tucker Carlson interview. You will see that Putin is not messing around. Joe Biden is threatening to send people to Ukraine if they don't get money for his money laundering operation in Ukraine. We need our border secure. We need our country secure. We need to get our country back. So please, share my videos with your friends and family. Don't forget to follow and like me in Rumble. And please get out and vote. My next live feed will I'll do another one next week sometime. But we'll also be covering the primary South Carolina on February 24th. And every primary until general election. So I hope to see you join me on those live feeds. And again, check out my videos. Follow me on Rumble at Country Conservative. And I'll keep bringing the truth as much as I can. So in the meantime, this is the Country Conservative, and I'm Charlie. And I'll see you guys next time.